Hi everybody, we are finally back to making more videos. Sorry it took so long. I actually lost my memory card when I was uploading my last video and we could not find it. She's pretty excited. We could not find it and I finally decided to order another one. We got it and I was like, good, I can finally make another video. Then my sister and my brother-in-law and nephew came over for breakfast this morning and my sister found it under a chair. So now we have two. Yay, we can make lots of videos. So I had originally planned on making a breastfeeding video during World Breastfeeding Week, and I actually sat down to make it and my video camera battery died. So I've been having all kinds of issues. So we're a little bit late for World Breastfeeding Week, but you know, we're still going to do it. I can probably make a 3-hour video and still not tell you everything there is to talk about with breastfeeding, but I'm just going to show you some of the basics. And you know, if you have any specific questions, you can always write it in the comments. I did train as a breastfeeding peer counselor, and I have some medical knowledge as far as breastfeeding, and I do plan on becoming an internationally board certified lactation consultant in the very near future. So I do have some knowledge, but I also have 4 children's worth of experience. So if you do have any questions, just write them in the comments. So this video, if you would like to watch it, is going to be part 1 of how to breastfeed. I'm going to make a few separate videos so they're not so long. This video, part 1, is how to breastfeed with as far as positions. So there are lots of positions to breastfeed your little one. Now this big pig is about 2 months old and she's huge, and this is all from breast milk, just breastfeeding from this little one. So you know, I know a lot of women get discouraged thinking they don't make enough milk, and it's actually pretty rare to not make enough milk, but you know, it's something that you need to base on if the baby's gaining weight, how many wet diapers they have, and I'm going to be talking about that a little more in another video. But this one's just on positioning, and it's based on what's best for you and the baby. So the first thing I'm going to recommend is, I'm not sitting in the right position right now, but as far as the mom, you want to have something with some back support, because if you're hunched over, you're going to hurt your back. With my first one, I was pretty lazy. I was tired. It was my first baby. I was a new mom, and I would get lazy and just kind of like sit somewhere, not use my pillow, and hunch over. And after the first couple weeks, I started having back spasms. And trust me, you do not want those. They're no fun. They hurt, and they're very uncomfortable, and you just don't want it. So always make sure that you support yourself and the baby. So like I was just saying with the pillow, it's important to have some kind of pillow. It doesn't have to be one of the name brand ones or anything like that. If you don't have one, just use the pillow off your bed. Use the pillow off your couch. Use, you know, whatever pillow you have. And if, you know, you're a little bit smaller on top and the baby still doesn't reach well without you hunching over, use a second pillow. Whatever works for you, you know, is good. I use the boppy pillow, just because that was pretty much all they had when I had my first one, and I still have it. There's nothing wrong with it. I like it. So, you know, you can see it just kind of, it's like a big, this one looks like a donut because it has sprinkles on it, but it's kind of like a donut with the middle cut out, and you just wrap it around yourself so it takes up the whole area. So you can see she's laying on the pillow now, and she's pretty happy right now. She just ate. So this is what, you know, a happy breastfed baby looks like. And do not get discouraged if your baby does not always look like this as soon as they're done eating. She doesn't look like this every single time. Sometimes she's like, she's still hungry after, and sometimes she is, and I have to feed her again. So, you know, we'll talk about that more in the other videos. But this one's just about positions. So the basic position is a cradle hold. And that means that you are holding them kind of the way you would just hold them, kind of like this. So like this kind of position is a typical hold for a bottle-fed baby. You know, are supporting their head, and they can look up at you, and you can hold the bottle with your other hand. With breastfeeding, though, you don't want them in this position because they have to turn their head to get to your breast, and that's not very good for their neck and their back. So you always want them to have their skin against your skin, so you can see you're still holding them like this, but they're facing you. So their belly is kind of touching your belly. Another thing is, whatever arm is closer to you, you want to put down underneath them like this. So their arm is out of the way. So that way their arm isn't blocking them from your breast. Now, whatever position you're in, you just want to make sure that their neck and back are aligned. That means you have a good position. So this pillow works for me. I'm a little bit large up here if you can't tell. So this one pillow is good enough for me to be able to sit straight up and still breastfeed. If it's not enough for you, put another pillow underneath so it raises the baby up a little bit. You can also have this to support your arms and hold your baby like this and support yourself on the pillow. Whatever works for you, works. So this position, their head is kind of in like the crook of your arm where your elbow is, and you can either just kind of have them sit on the pillow, or you can hold them up a little bit more. I put my arm in between her legs and support her back like this. This way it's a good rocking position and breastfeeding position. So that is the first position. The next position is almost the same. It's called the cross cradle, but you're going to switch your arms a little bit. The baby stays in the same position, but instead of having them in the crook of your arm, you're going to bring your other arm around. So her head is on my right arm, so I'm using my left arm to support her head now. So I have my hand behind her head, like in between the back of her head and her neck, and I'm supporting her head like that. And I'm going to turn her a little bit so she's a little bit on an angle, and this way I can position my breast a little bit easier for her. This is called the cross cradle, and this is so, especially in the beginning when they're first learning how to breastfeed, you can position your breast to go right into their mouth instead of them having to look for it. So this is a little bit easier. You can see in the regular cradle hold, you can still get in there to position your breast, but the baby's kind of in the way, you're kind of in the way. So if you want to do that, it's a little bit easier to do it in this position. And from what I was taught, I see a lot of people doing the C hold, which means their thumb is on top and the rest of their hand is on the bottom. This is okay, but it's actually better to do a U hold where you go under the breast and have your thumb on one side and the rest of your hand on the other, because then you're squeezing it in a way that projects the breast more instead of kind of clamping it in the C hold. So that's the way I was taught. I think it works a little bit better, so you need to see what works for you and your baby. So that's the cross cradle hold. Next hold, football hold. This one I never actually really used. I just liked the other ones better, but it is good, especially if you had a C-section. That way the baby's not laying on your belly. Or if you have more than one little one, then you can do two positions at the same time. So in the football hold, they're on your side, and you see that she is still has her belly against me. So you kind of angle the baby so they're kind of wrapped around you, and you're supporting their back, or if you don't have the pillow, you're supporting their head. Get their hands out of the way, just like the other positions, and you kind of angle them into like a C. So she doesn't want to do it right now because she's not used to this position. So you see like this. You angle their whole body so that way she can reach the breast this way. So it's basically a side position, like you're holding a football. So again, this is good if you have twins. You can do 2 football holds, or you can do the football hold and then the other baby can go on this breast this way, depending on how long they are. They can kind of interweave between the two of them. So that's a good thing to do. And also, with, like I said, with the C-section, so there's not pressure on your belly. Also, there's another position for the C-section mommies out there. It's kind of like a modified cradle hold, where you can put them into the cradle position like I had her before, like this. And instead of having them kind of rest on your belly, you in some type of accurate, you know, good back support way, like especially when you're in the hospital and you have the adjustable bed, you kind of lay back a little bit so that way their weight is on your chest instead of on your incision. So you kind of lay back a little bit, or if you have, you know, if you're home already, you can put some pillows behind you so you can rest a little bit like this, and that way you can see that the baby is on my chest instead of on my belly. So, next position is for when you are really tired in the middle of the night and you don't even want to get up. That is when you and the baby are both laying down. So I'm laying like this, and it's easier if this arm, that whatever side you're on, that arm, you kind of hold your head up, or if you're laying completely down, you just put your arm out of the way. If your arm's here, like next to her, or next to the baby, it's going to get in the way. So this way, again, you can be, you know, belly against belly. She's on her side, and then you just go like that. And that is my favorite position for when I am too lazy to even get up. And obviously you can do it on both sides. Now if you want to get really lazy, you can do both breasts on the same side. Now the way that you do that is either you kind of flip yourself over a little bit so you're almost on your stomach, and then you can put the baby in that way, or you can put the baby on a pillow. So I'm going to use my little boppy pillow here. I'm going to put the baby on a pillow, and that way they're at the same height as your other breast, and then you can do it like that. So that's it for the main positions. She's so confused because we're not eating and she keeps getting into the positions. So those are the main positions for breastfeeding, but basically any position that you and the baby are both happy in and the baby's neck and spine stay aligned works. So, you know, figure it out, you know, lay down, turn, you know, flip the baby around a little bit, see what works for you guys, and if it's comfortable and, you know, for you and the baby, do it. It's fine. And also, another cool thing about these bobby pillows is that once you're done, if you need to put the baby down or something, you can just put the pillow down and just put them kind of in it, and then they're kind of supported instead of just putting them flat, so they stay upright after they eat, so they don't get, you know, any indigestion, or it helps with if the baby is colicky or gassy or has reflux. This way they stay upright a little bit, and it's also good for when they start. I don't like to do tummy time this early, but pretty soon she's going to need to do tummy time. But to get her used to when we do tummy time, I put her this way. That way she gets used to being on her belly, and then pretty soon we'll take the pillow away and she'll be completely flat on her belly to keep, you know, tummy time is to help with their head and neck development. Well, mainly their neck development, to keep their neck strengthened, to practice keeping their big heavy head up. So she's pretty good at it actually, but she's being lazy right now. So, but stay tuned, because either later today or tomorrow I'm going to be doing part 2 of my video, which will be how to breastfeed as far as latching the baby on. So you got the baby in position. Next you need to know how to get that baby on the breast. So stay tuned, because I will be making that video very soon. Thank you.